بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله تعالى وسلم على سيدنا Muhammad وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum, respected brothers and sisters. I want to first of all welcome all of you to Mawarid Lifestyle. This is the first time I'm recording a video on here, so welcome. This is actually an answers video. So Mawarid Lifestyle has a Q&A section. There is an answers page, and there's a submit a question form on there as well. And some of your questions have started coming in. So I want to begin by answering the first question. Sometimes questions will be answered in writing, sometimes as a video. Perhaps where appropriate, we'll do a short video answer to get the answer out there in principle, but then where necessary, follow up with a more detailed answer if more detail is necessary, inshallah. So I'll get straight into the first question. It's quite a heavy one, so we're starting off with a bang. So the question is, and I'll read out, I have a really tricky question that one of the children asked me and I couldn't answer. I hope you don't find it too offensive, but with today's society and people choosing who they want to be, I really need to be able to answer it correctly. One of the children, so I'm assuming this is maybe a teacher or somebody like that. One of the children asked, which room would I pray if I wasn't sure whether I was a girl or a boy? With the new curriculum at the school, we look at transgender and people feeling like they were born into a gender that they're not happy with. It's extremely heavy stuff, I know, but I just didn't know how to answer the question related to the masjid. So that's the question. My first question, and it's so loaded. Obviously, it's also politically tricky because it's becoming difficult to discuss these things from a religious point of view. Interestingly, because of this increasing kind of caricature of religions and religious people, and especially Islam, as intolerant, which kind of causes a reaction, making society intolerant towards religion, so that now all of a sudden religious perspectives cannot be discussed openly, and they should be. I think we should be discussing these things openly and intellectually, so that we can get to understand each other's points of view. So here goes. So firstly, I want to begin by saying that I find it interesting that a child, and I don't know what age this child is, but I find it curious and interesting that a child is asking this question. We've all been around children. And I have 3 children of my own. I'm the eldest of 7 siblings. I have nephews and nieces, an army of them. And this is not the kind of question that they just come out and ask out of the blue. This kind of question really is triggered by exposure, because they have been exposed to this question, or to a conversation that triggers that question. And I suppose the question that we all have to face as a community and as a society is, for this particular child and for any other child, is this question, and are such questions age appropriate, or is the conversation that is being had with them, that exposes them to issues such as transgender, being addressed to them in an age appropriate manner? That brings up this whole issue of sex and relationship education and how it's being taught in schools, and whether it's age appropriate. Not just age appropriate, but also proportional. And of course, people have their positions on this. Schools have positions on this, teachers have positions on this, parents have positions on this, governors have positions on this, the government has its advice on this. But at the end of the day, our children are our children, and we have to be vigilant to ensure that the issues that they're being exposed to are being, first and foremost, they're being exposed to them at the right time, and that the conversations are age appropriate. Regardless of the fact that this may have been brought up at school, and that's what might have triggered the question. Um, we should also, as parents, engage in the discussion with the children in an age-appropriate manner. And therefore, if it is just curiosity, then I think it's perfectly okay to simply say, well, for children, every prayer room is open. The answer to which prayer would somebody who perhaps um, was transgender, this question would apply to a transgender person, somebody who is physically one gender but feels that they are another. Um, if that was indeed the question, and that's more of a question for us adults to consider, parents have to decide how they deal with children. Then we can discuss this in a general sense, and I can't go into specifics. An answer like this can't comment on a specific case, such as the case of this child. So the answer is general and in principle. So generally and in principle, the answer is that Islam does not uh, recognize um, a situation where somebody who is biologically born uh, of a particular gender, so they're biologically male or biologically female, it does not recognize their sentiment or their feeling that they are of another gender. So essentially, the gender that they are biologically is really the room where they should pray. So if they're biologically male, then they pray with the men. If they're biologically female, then they pray with the women. This is based on kind of classical Islamic jurisprudence. And at the end of the day, if somebody is a Muslim, then we take our worldview from Islam, and the Islamic worldview recognizes that people who are biologically male and biologically female um, are exactly that, and therefore, regardless of how they feel about their gender, they should they should uh, they, they should live their religious life according to how Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has created them biologically. Uh, Human beings have all sorts of feelings and all sorts of inclinations. We can't go along with all of those inclinations. So that is the juristic position. Having said that, this is not that does not mean that people who have these feelings shouldn't be tolerated, that they shouldn't be heard, that they shouldn't be helped if help is what they seek. That is a completely different issue altogether. The position of Islamic jurisprudence is what I have just said. Finally, on this page, I'll make sure that there are some additional resources posted that relate to the whole issue of gender identity and the whole issue of sexual orientation. There's not a great deal out there, but there is some good material, inshallah, for Muslims to take guidance from. I'm going to reiterate this point. At the end of the day, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in the Quran. We believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we take our worldview from that. And therefore, we take the guidance of Islam regarding what is permitted and what is forbidden. We take our guidance from Allah and His Messenger and the Quran with regards to our orientations, with regards to the way we think, our philosophical orientation, and with regards to our passions, our desires, and our inclinations. And that's what should guide us, even though it isn't always easy. Praying 5 times a day isn't easy. Regulating our desires isn't always easy. Staying away from the haram isn't always easy. This is the life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us in this dunya, and we are in this dunya to earn success in the akhirah, inshallah ta'ala. And whatever sacrifices that we make and whatever discipline that we live by in this life will be rewarded in the hereafter. That is our worldview, and we should not sway from that because of external pressures. We should tolerate other people and their inclinations, but if we are Muslims, then not only should we live as Muslims and be proud of it, but we should also demand that our way of thinking and our lifestyle is also tolerated, just like we tolerate others. So that is the answer to that first very heavy question, inshallah ta'ala. I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it, and that I hope that this is going to be beneficial to the questioner and to others as well. I will follow up with other questions that have been sent in. I'm still settling into, inshallah, Mawalid lifestyle, and the whole kind of putting content up, inshallah. So expect more and more content. And I'll end with that. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.